There we go. That's the thing is, in order to make those things palatable, you actually have to pound them with sugar
What, green apples?
and strawberries. Yeah.
Strawberries? Yeah. I don't know though, man. I mean, like sometimes I don't mind. Well, actually, come to think of it, you're right. Because when I was a kid, I remember we used to have a strawberry patch in our backyard.
Yes.
So, and I mean, it's like anywhere here in Colorado. If you get a little overhang that never sees any light, you just throw some strawberries in there. You get a strawberry patch out of it for years. Um, and yeah, you're right. Because you go and you take a bowl of sugar and you dip them in the sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. But I've used like raw strawberries. Like I make strawberry shortcakes. It's actually pretty fucking good. And it doesn't have sugar. It's got honey in it, but not like raw cane sugar.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But I was saying I can't eat them because like the little berries in them fuck me up now, or the little seeds, little tiny seeds.
Oh, like
So
you're getting your teeth and stuff? Or?
they get in my gut, man. It just feels raw for a couple days. Like my mom has diverticulitis, and that's what that is. So it's completely hereditary.
I've never
So
heard the term.
yeah, oh well, don't Google it. It's gross. So
Does it have to have pictures, or is just the
it,
description itself enough?
yeah. The description is just enough. So, but you'll see the pictures. It's gross.
So, like, if I go to like Gemini or something,
You'll find pictures.
it'll just come out there and it'll see like in your poopiest poop areas, It'll
It is.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
So, and I've got to touch that. So there's certain things I'm not supposed to eat, and that's like raw strawberries. The other thing that I've noticed that fucks me up lately. I don't want this to turn into an old man episode.
Sometimes it's you act like it's a choice. Sometimes if the brain has
Yeah,
something to say, it says it, man.
So, well, we'll see. It might go that direction, but it's like that. It's like, and I mean, like raw nuts. I shouldn't eat them, but I love them. So,
Any
um,
particular kind?
I love cashews, man. So I'll eat
Hey,
cashews
everybody
all
loves
fucking day long.
cashews.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
that's the problem is um, I think most of us
yeah,
would happily. I don't want to say replace a meal with
I
cashews.
have done that many times. So
Right.
yep, couple
Um,
handfuls of cashews, and you're feeling pretty good.
but I think most of us like to happily supplement first to second to third meal in between
Hmm.
with just a can of that shit.
Oh yeah,
But it doesn't take a whole lot of reading to figure out why you can't.
yeah, yeah, because you can't really digest them that well.
Uh,
Yeah.
I mean, you can digest them fine, but I mean, there's a reason. So there's a reason that they're an excellent source of like starving fuel. So like
Hmm.
if you were like an outdoorsman and you were
Oh
trying
yeah,
to survive
trail mix.
and you just had, some of those things around to get you through, you'd get through
You get through.
because they're super like calorie and fat packed.
Hmm.
But that's the problem is they sell them in uh, whatever container they come in as a single serving container. Because you could make it that way. They don't take up that much space in your stomach. That's
No.
that's part of the issue.
Yeah. Well, I'm the same way with peanuts, and I'll snarf peanuts all day. So
As will I.
yeah. So and I've gotten so speaking of old Manny, I've gotten past the point in time. I don't even like the honey ones anymore, man. I just like the dry ones. So the honey ones are great, but
I gotta say, are you telling me that right now you'd turn me down if I offered some of those Planters honey roasted
I
peanuts?
would absolutely destroy those. But if you put those next to a cup of the dry roasted ones, I'd probably eat the dry roasted ones first. I just love how the way they taste. So
All right, that's fine.
yeah,
That's fine. Is it? You don't seem to have contempt for honey roasted
I
peanuts.
do
I
not.
think these
No.
are quite fantastic. Um, I mean, as you get older, there are certain ones that you tend to go for a little bit more almonds.
I've never been big on almonds. So
It's because they're actually the healthiest of the ones that you can
are
eat.
they
Yeah,
really? Oh, I
yeah,
didn't know that.
yeah.
So they're okay. I just they always taste a little bitter to me. So
Maybe a little bit. I
yeah.
mean, the ones I get are sort of salty or
So yeah,
you know
that's okay.
that kind
You
of
get the
thing.
diamond ones or whatever.
Yep.
'Cause we've gotten those a few
Yep.
times. So I will chop those up and put them on ice cream. No problem.
See, you kind of okay. So the benefit of the almond is this is sort of the keto secret weapon if you're doing that is almonds are the one nut that are actually low carb.
Oh, okay.
So
There you
for
go.
people who are looking to get some snacks in under that, but if you're putting it on ice cream, you have
It's not low carb
yeah,
anymore.
yeah.
Yeah.
Although I mean that is a weird thing. Like I obviously I don't have a problem with it, but aren't chopped peanuts sort of the prize on the ice cream?
Yeah, so I'll go on the ice cream if I have to make like, and I've done this a couple times, man, where we just have nice ice cream in the house. I make myself full blown ice cream sundaes. It'll be chopped walnuts, so and then caramel or chopped pecans, and then caramel hot fudge whipped cream. Bang.
Walnuts are the thing that I'm not finding much of a place for in my life anymore.
Yeah, that's okay. So
I guess
they they taste. There's nothing in the world that tastes quite like a walnut. It's like greasy packing peanuts.
I guess that's it.
So
If
sometimes you
that's what
just
you
it
want,
tastes
that's
good.
what you
Yeah,
want. Yeah.
I do. I like pecans over walnuts though. So I'll
Well,
eat pecans all
pecans
fucking
kick the
day.
living shit out of
Yeah,
walnuts any day of
yeah.
the week, though. Does this count as old man talk? Just
I don't
talking
know,
about
man. It's summertime,
nuts we've
dude.
enjoyed.
Yeah,
All
nuts we've enjoyed
right.
our entire lives. Yeah. So riveting stuff here. So shall we move on to ice cream flavors or what?
All right. Have you given any thought to doing home ice cream?
Yeah. So like when I was a kid, we didn't have an ice cream maker, but there was a kit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. And I remember we did that a couple times. It was really fucking good and things like that. But I'm sorry, dude. I'm into novelty ice cream now, man.
Novelty?
I like ice cream bars and shit. So
Oh, oh.
yeah, I don't get just straight up like a gallon of ice cream very often. So, but I'll like buy a box of drumsticks and murder them in a few days.
That's an interesting change.
Yeah,
I generally see people moving to the more pure form as they get a little bit older.
yeah. I don't. There's a little piece of me that's still a little kid that keeps coming out, man. Like just I think it was what last week or maybe the week before I bought a whole box of Rocket Pops and I hate the fuck out of them.
Rocket Pops, see, that's there's a problem with Rocket Pops. Well, it's not really a problem. It's Rocket Pops have a place, and when I say a place, it's not just whatever the flavor is. It is also cut with time machine,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. You can't have or look at a Rocket Pop without thinking of time going by when you were younger and you
Mm.
got Rocket Pops.
Oh yeah, whenever the ice cream truck came,
Yeah,
you could
yeah,
Rocket Pop. Yeah.
yeah.
So and they're just as good as you remember them being.
Or lousy, but I mean that's
I love them. Man.
I
I
agree.
love them so much,
Here's the
dude.
thing: is if you look at what's in them, there is nothing special about
It's
them. It
water and
is just
sugar.
yeah. So if, say, for example, I were to pluck from his expensive home right now in France, I were to take uh, just a fucking cooking French aristocrat right now and just pull him from the countryside and say like, "Here, eat this rocket pop," right? And he would,
You
put it.
can't make me.
Yeah, exactly. He put it to his lips. And he said, "Who decided to sewage water?"
Yeah, exactly.
Um, so he wouldn't like it right off the jump. But if you grew up on that at in any capacity,
Mhm.
it's fantastic. It's funny that you mentioned. So it's hard for me to call this like gimmicky, but I guess it is by its definition. If you're talking about ice cream, so my dad's ice cream of choice, which would have been around this age now,
Mhm.
which is odd now to look
Let
at.
me guess.
What?
He was an ice cream sandwich kind of guy.
You're not too far off.
Okay,
Just put a
all right.
stick in it. So,
Got it. Was
so
he fudgesicle guy?
he was an Eskimo pie guy.
Oh, there you go.
All right,
Yeah.
and so that was when Dad would take like two of the metered things that he'd be allowed to enjoy in the evening, and he'd come back from work and we'd have dinner, and it was time for him to relax in front of the television set. He'd have his one glass of Dr. Pepper,
Right. Shoestring potatoes.
maybe
Maybe.
it could be that.
Okay.
It could be a cup of the Planters cheese balls because he didn't like the other kind.
Yeah, the Oots ones. Yeah, Ootsie or whatever they're.
No, these were the Planters ones.
No. I'm talking about the other ones. He
Oh,
doesn't. He didn't like those.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
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 The ones that were basically like puffy Cheetos.
Yeah.
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 It would be that. It would be like 6 of the Andes mints,
Okay, I can see that.
or a few, like maybe 2 or 3 the After Dark, the super thin mints.
The
The
thin
one.
mints, the crunchy ones.
No, these still had like mint nougat in them or whatever. It's still flowy.
Okay.
Or he would, take an Eskimo pie, undress it, and wait. And he'd sit there and wait for a while. It's like, no, you don't just eat it. You have to
Yeah,
let.
like it's squishy.
Yeah, there was something about the composition of it, which I do understand. They are better when they warm up a little bit, but he just sit there and hold it for a while.
Yeah.
And these were, in some people, all right. So especially having met some of the thrill seekers that I have over time, right? Even recently, when they just talk about like, you should come to Burning Man this year. It's the people who um, are seeking out.
Oh my god, dude, you would not fit in there at all.
I tried to make that point. I really tried to make that point. It says, I don't think you're giving this a fair shake. I'm like,
He would
well,
immediately out you as an undercover cop.
I was like, what do you venture about my personality thus far? What are the things that you think I would like about it?
Yeah, yeah. There's no universe where I can see you wearing laced, fucking glow sticks,
You're absolutely right. Well,
and
unless
worshiping at the feet of a burning god.
not without fucking being in the center of it as it's on fire, as I'm singing, as they burn it. Yes,
Right?
that is
Yeah, you
correct.
literally like hail to the queen.
I was like, so I think you're misjudging, my preferences here. Is like, so number one, like, it seems like the majority of this experience centers around being other people, being around other people. I don't want that.
Considering your past airport experiences, no. Your recent ones, yeah,
That's correct.
yeah. I don't think, but yeah, yeah. The only thing that would be in your favor is like so my understanding from what I've seen of people and collected of my own personal experiences of people who've gone to Burning Man, they're probably no good in a fight. So I think you could run the place if you
I
wanted
run the place, but uh, despite what I say about our schools, as much as I want tyrannical dictatorship over it, I don't want to seize power. That's the part that I don't want to
Right.
do.
Yeah.
Right? I don't want to campaign for this. I don't want to scapegoat a whole bunch of people. I don't want a whole night of like fucking broken glass and shit. This is just like this is it'd be a smooth transition of power,
Right.
right? But yeah, the idea of being out with people, number one, being outdoors for an extended period of time, is starting to really, really lose my favor
I
because
can't do it.
the other thing is like, well, we're not all here to go fishing,
Right.
right?
Right.
You guys are here for like revelry. I'm not here for this. I don't want to barter for
Revelry.
shit. I don't want to.
I want your fucking hair spider. So,
Well, same thing. Yeah,
I'm
it's
keeping my beer.
yeah. It's like, yeah, but there's some great mountain biking trails around there and stuff too. It's like, I live in Colorado, dude.
Yeah, the state is a Mikey Mountain Trail. Yeah.
The other day, for the first time in a little while, I took this one. She gave me this look like, I'm tired of the same boring walks we go on. So I just brought her over to Palmer Park, and I
Okay.
forgot how outstanding the trails are at the
Yeah.
park just next to my house.
Hmm.
And not just the trails, the view, the everything. And that's just the first real park that I go to that's not for, intramural sports.
Yeah, it's 5 minutes away too.
Yes, yes. So to do that with all these fucking weirdos around is like, that's not me. But so for a lot of these people, when I look at the things that my dad had uh, sort of relegated his exciting choices to, was it's like, potato sticks, or am I going to go for that? There's a lot of people who are just kind of like, I don't know what hell is, but you just described it to me,
Yeah.
right? And I understand that to a bit, because there is a piece of me that would look at that and say, is this what my life has come to, right?
Mm.
But there's also a part of it that says, I did all right.
I'm at Burning Man. Yeah.
Well, yeah, or just like I'm sitting here with my melting Eskimo pie. My wife is here, my
Oh
two
yeah,
kids
no,
are here. It's
you're
like
good.
I
Yeah,
did all right.
yeah,
You know
you
what
did
I
all
mean?
right. Yeah.
Now, granted, I think my brother sort of adopted that philosophy, I don't know, 29 years too early, where, it was just, well, I have found the four things I like. I think I'm gonna dial it in from
Yeah.
here, right?
So they all have ketchup. That's good.
Right.
That's right.
Everything, gets ketchup. Everything tastes like ketchup. Everybody wins.
Right.
So, there's a piece of that where I say like, God damn, Dad, you were boring. But there's also a part of it where it's like, God damn, Dad, you lived like a king.
You had it figured out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just a totally different perspective as I see people uh the the moaning, Patrick. The moaning has not stopped in terms of I know it's been a few days and we thought maybe that the complaining about not everybody has a house stuff would have gone away.
No, it's not going away,
It
dude.
didn't go away.
No, it's not going away.
It might have gotten, even a small percentage worse, but
The wailing and gnashing of teeth is pretty. Um, it's invaded other platforms now, so
has it got out into the normie
it
sphere?
has gotten out into the normie sphere.
That's
So
really
yeah,
unfortunate.
yeah. Um, yeah, it escaped Twitter velocity, so or Twitter gravity, I guess is what it is.
Right.
Yeah. So, um, yeah, but I mean, the funny thing is like housing prices here, they're flat. They're not going up anymore.
Right.
So salaries are still going up. So eventually, this is a self-fixing problem. So this is self-sealing concrete. You know?
You
So
have to not touch it.
you can't touch it. You can't stir it.
Right. It's
But
been stirred.
it's been
Yeah.
stirred. Yeah, exactly. It will sort itself out. But then I mean, because I was just looking at it the other day, because like I don't know, man. I always watch real estate just for funsies. You
You always have. Yeah.
Yeah, and like so, we've had a little bit of churn in my neighborhood lately. We've had a couple houses that were on the market for a few months. A couple of them got pulled off, and a couple of them sold. And I can tell you the difference between the two. So the ones that got sold were reasonably priced. The ones that got pulled off were ones where people were asking for too much money for their house.
Oh, they were trying to get 2007 prices.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're at 20 like pre-COVID prices, I guess, or post-COVID prices. Because when the price spike, it was like 2022.
Was it?
Yeah, something like
Right.
that. you know, and I can tell you, like one of them, I watched it for a while, and you watch this guy, and he'd post his house, and then he'd be there for a couple of weeks, and he was doing like weekly open house, blah blah blah, with the balloon animals and all that shit. So
Yeah.
and then you go check it out. It's like, okay, so he knocked off $5,000, and then next week he knocked off $1,000, and it's like, well, if they didn't bite on five, you're not going to bite on that, dude. So, but you
Right.
can tell that he had a basement price, and the reason why he had a basement price, if you go into his price history, was that he bought it, when it was on that upswing, but towards the ass end of that upswing. And so now when he has to sell it, he's going to give his realtor 6% commission,
Yeah.
and he's going to bring closing costs. He has to probably have to bring cash to his closing. So, and there's a lot of people who are in that situation. So, oh, can't get a house. It's like, well, motherfucker, some people are trapped in their house, man. So, but that makes it like now no different than any time ever. So shut the fuck up. you know, I mean, I was thinking about that the other day. When we were in our 20s, did you have any reasonable expectation to be a permanent homeowner in your 20s?
I'm going to answer that two ways. So, number one, no, but
Right.
that comes with an asterisk. It comes
If
with,
you could get one, you'd do it.
well, it
So,
also comes with the asterisk of in my 20s,
yeah.
I had no. I guess this is my take. Is in your 20s, I suppose there should be at least some sort of internal sense of expected flux where it's like,
Sure.
okay, unless I am absolutely certain at a very young age that this is where I'm intending to be,
Right.
right, for a very long time.
Yeah.
That's not to say that you couldn't have been the people that bought house, sold it, whatever. If you had the change for it. But I would imagine that a lot of people at that age should probably at least feel like I'm not sure if I'm really settled down houseman. I'm not sure if I'm going to be living here in 5 years.
Exactly. That's because when we were in our 20s, and I mean, this is the thing that I've noticed has changed, is we were 100% career focused. It was like, where am I going to land? What am I going to do? Kind of thing.
There's so
So,
much.
and now it's
Yeah,
like that's like the second. It's like, well, the way that you're going to make money is by buying a house and renting that, subletting out a room, so you get mailbox money. It's like that's not a fucking job. So,
that's incorrect. That is a job when you're 50.
it's a job when you're 50 and you have 10 of those. Yes. Yeah.
And you bought those because you did a job
You
for
actually
30
had a
years.
job. Yeah.
Right, right, right.
Yeah. There was an infographic that came out the other day. I don't know how these got plugged in my theme, but there's this like this. I think it's called a visual capitalist, and they put out infographics, and a lot of them are bullshit. So, which is hilarious. Like they had the one the other day that's like the corruption index in the United States was middle of the pack. And we're like, so this is when you write the test after you gotten everybody's answers. So, and so well, America got them all right and changed the questions.
A little bit, dude.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but anyway, um, but one of them that they were trying to hide the other day was the unemployment rate. So the unemployment rate in the United States is ridiculously
Really
low.
low.
It is so low that they actually have to take out the usual, like plus or minus 3%. Because if you do that and leave that in there, our unemployment is negative.
It could be zero. Yes.
It could be zero.
Yeah. Right. Right.
So, okay, so I'm going to quiz you here a little bit. So this was like a little bit of bullshit that they put in this test. Okay, so but what state has the lowest rate of unemployment?
Lowest rate?
Lowest rate. Give it a guess.
Is it obvious?
No.
Okay.
In fact, it's kind of surprising.
I'm going to go with this because they've been on such a statistical tear lately.
Mm-hmm.
Mississippi.
No, not a bad guess. Think like Mississippi, but much colder.
North Dakota?
You got it. You nailed it. So, well, actually, it's South Dakota. So North Dakota is like, I think South Dakota, it was like 2.2%. Okay, so Jeff, where do those 2.2% in South Dakota who are unemployed live?
Well, they have this land that's been set aside for them.
So you found the flaw there, right? Yeah, yeah.
Well, sort of in the same way that if you look at any statistic and you see where Oklahoma is,
Right.
you have to do the same thing
You
and
have to
say,
do the same.
wow, this is an extremely criminal. Oh, wait.
Oh, wait. Well, the same thing's true with Arizona. There's a huge chunk of Arizona the same way. So, and New Mexico. New Mexico. It was like funny, man. I spent a little time in Santa Fe not too long ago. Oh, it's so beautiful and stuff. It's kind of ratty. But then like you go and you look
Yeah.
at any of these things, you see like New Mexico is dead last and all kinds of shit, like
They certainly
like
are.
fucking education and healthcare spending and life expectancy and sobriety. It's like what the fuck, man. I mean, it's like it's weird because it's not even like Wyoming, man. Because Wyoming is fine in all those categories. There's nobody fucking lives there.
Right.
So
Right.
New Mexico, nobody lives there either, but everybody there is really miserable.
They don't have, I mean, that's the thing is when you have misery and low denominator number,
Right.
that misery is really extended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So back to my point. What was the state with the highest rate of unemployment?
Is this one obvious?
This one is not obvious because they cheated. So I go with the obvious answer right off the bat.
Well, the obvious answer makes me want to say Florida.
No.
And I was going to say Florida because I figured there was some way they were cajoling retirees with not working.
No. They're actually playing above board on that one. So,
Okay, got it. Then Illinois.
No. Not a bad guess, but no. Yeah. Closer. So
To us?
in terms of politics.
Oh,
Yeah.
New York?
No, it's California. So yeah, it's California, followed by Oregon and New Jersey. And
So
Washington's
the
pretty far up
usual
there, too.
suspects
The usual
do show their
suspects, yeah,
faces.
exactly. But they cheated on that because they included DC, which is like a magnitude of order higher than everything else. It's not a fucking state, but
No.
yeah, it's tiny. So, but still, it was like, okay, all right. So you just didn't want California to be number one. Got it. I see what you're doing with your data here. So, but anyway, um, but even then, I mean, so California's was like 5.7 or something like that. Okay. So, which, like, okay, come on, man. We've gone through recessions that were way worse than
Oh yes.
that. Okay. So, and then on top of that, if you start going and looking internationally, it's horrifying how bad some of these countries, like England, there are parts of it that have like a 40% unemployment rate.
That's not a joke.
That is,
No,
dude,
that is not a joke.
that is not a
Nope.
joke, dude. That is an entire generation of people who are basically just fucking, crated. Yeah. So they just move for milk. It's awful, dude.
Yeah.
So, and then I mean the Chinese is like, oh yeah, it's like, no, dude, you probably have like half. You're just not telling anybody. So, especially among certain demographics in terms of age. And it's just it's such a mind fuck in some respects because like okay, so I remember graduating into an economy where unemployment was like 7 or 8%. Okay,
Mm,
after the
mm,
dot-com crash.
yeah.
Okay, and you could still find a job. It was like, all right, I'm going to do this until I find something better, kind of thing.
The job that you got in that era, and this is what people don't. This is when you see. There's only so much of the fucking whining TikToks you can take on this because the job that you got was the job that you had before you went to school
Right.
while you waited for something to open up in your field
Yep.
and you put out 20 resumes a week.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like that's called normal.
It was.
It was,
And
yeah.
somehow we convinced people that was not the case.
No, I don't know. I don't really get that. I don't understand exactly where that came from. I mean, a lot of it is just content generation on social media,
Mm-hmm.
but it's poisonous, dude. So because
Of
certain
course it's
people start fucking
poisonous.
believing it, and, oh yeah, like, and then you walk by a sign at the gas station that says hiring, and you feel, oh, I'm too good for that because I went to fucking Dartmouth, and it's like, you know what? That's actually going to get you closer to your dreams than sitting on fucking TikTok and being pissy all day. So maybe you should just do that. So you know,
Well, I mean, we can tell the career trajectories of our fathers, right?
oh yeah.
And it's when I tell people that, yes, it's like, so my father, who had 6 engineering degrees,
Mhm. Got laid off.
it wasn't just that he got laid off, he did work at a 7-Eleven for a
Yep.
while.
Yeah, my dad sold paint at Lowe's. So,
I mean, this is
when I was in high school, my dad had three fucking jobs.
what I'm talking
Yeah,
about. Yeah,
so yeah,
yeah,
he had three fucking jobs. And granted, I mean, he was able to sandwich two of them together because they're the same fucking place.
right.
So, but that was still 10-hour days guaranteed for
Yeah,
him,
yeah.
And the other thing about my dad that, like, I don't know, I tell my students this and it kind of blows their mind, but my dad went from 1986 to 2002 without getting a raise. So a single penny raise. Okay. So nowadays, if you didn't get a raise in 16 years worth of work, yeah, 16 years worth of work, I feel like you are fucking stupid. What are you doing wasting your time there, man? Kind of thing. But that was just the way that worked.
That's how it works.
Yeah. Because he had already topped out as high as he could go, and there was no upside after that. And I mean, that's the seniority system. Eventually, you'd get enough time, you get as many haircuts as you're going to get.
Right.
So, yeah. But, and that's just it, and it's just mind blowing that, I mean, you can take these two things that are fundamentally true. All right. So, it has almost never been easier to get a job in this country than it is right now. Okay. And, the other thing that I'm starting to notice is like AI ain't doing the thing that a lot of people said it was going to do. So it's cleaning out a couple companies, of which you could probably speak on a little bit, but you
I
know
can speak on
why.
Well, I
So,
can. There are a few. Yes. Okay. So there's a few things here that, as we're talking about this, absolutely are. noteworthy in terms of not just infographics, but the way things are turning out and this such here, right? You know, because there's this thing. This is this was a chart I saw the other day. I completely believe it, where it talked about it wasn't about medical cost; it was about medical staff,
Okay.
right? And there's always this talk. This never goes away. This has been around since we were kids. There's whatever, right? Where they used to say we just this one came up, I believe, in terms of I think it had to do with immigration because it
Hmm.
was people saying, uh, we don't have enough doctors here, blah, 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 blah. So, like, okay, got it,
Yeah.
got it. Now, when people actually post the chart, and this is where it makes all the difference here, because that's where it also got into how much shit costs, right?
Hmm.
The bottom line here is increase in medical personnel over time, okay? And it rises enough that you can see that it rises and isn't a flat line.
So this is just raw number. How many people? Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. But what the other side of it was, the one that went like this and then all the way up here and like this,
Hmm.
okay?
2022.
It's been increasing since before then, but there's been a
Okay.
big
Yeah.
jump, around that time here. And it wasn't the medical industry has more people than ever,
Oh
but
yeah.
they're all fucking admin.
A lot of them are admin. Yep. So.
That was the thing is actual medical staff
Mhm.
right here, still growing a little bit,
Yeah.
at an expected level.
Yeah.
Admin has shot through the roof, and that shit ain't free. So
No.
when it comes down to the thing that I saw the other day about the U.S. economy, and this was fascinated me. This utterly fascinating. I said, um, so here's where we got it all wrong, and you have to follow trucking. Did you see this?
Trucking.
Yes.
Uh-uh.
It's about where the trucks originate from and where they're going. Because as of right now, we have an extreme trucker shortage.
Yeah. Yeah. We do.
Specific kinds.
Over a long haul.
Well,
Yeah.
so what they did find is that they cannot get enough trucks because that was the thing. They were looking at it and say, historically, the graph or the data should look like this. And it's basically from the outside in.
From the coast to the center. Yeah.
Correct. But,
It's land bridge now.
well, it's not even land bridge.
Yeah.
It's like a star
Oh.
where from the middle of the country,
Yeah.
okay, everything is emanating from there.
Oh, that's interesting.
And that's the thing is that means that the parts of origin are here,
Oh yeah, totally.
right?
So.
And this had everything to do, like what you're talking about, with AI. And they showed a graph on this that actually had some very interesting points. They said, what we're going to put this up against here is basically, and we're not saying this is one for one, but it's the closest thing that we have, especially in recent years, was this is the internet,
Mhm.
right? This is the trajectory of the internet, and it's up here where it becomes profitable,
Mhm.
basically becomes profitable, right? But
It took a while.
it took a
It took a
while,
while.
and the line here is basically productivity,
Yeah.
right? And what they've been showing here is they said, all right, so it took them this long to become profitable, but when it did, the world was never the same.
Right.
Okay?
AI will be the same way.
And what they showed was AI. It's like, well, this is the same thing, only it's higher.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so if and this is the key point that I'm making here is there's a lot of made up jobs right now. And I'm not saying that you don't do anything,
Yeah.
but what I'm saying is that one person could be doing five of these jobs.
Yeah.
And if what we're doing here is if we're actually culling the uh, if we're culling the inefficiencies, right,
Right.
then that's a huge, huge gain for the economy here.
Well, and you will see that in certain places. I do want to push back on your medical thing just a little bit, because I don't think the inefficiencies in the medical system are caused by having a lot of admins. Okay, so the problem is if you have and this is something that I know a little bit about. Um, if you have an increasing line of doctors and that's tracking with an increasing line of the population, it's the same proportion. Does that make sense?
Right.
But those guys are actually doing a hell of a lot more work, okay, that is strictly medical based work than they used to do. Okay, because you used to administer a hospital, it used to be run by a doctor, and they used to do all kinds of, fucking admin tasks and blah blah blah. And then the other thing about it is there's a there's a terrible choke point in the American medical system, and it's medical schools in particular. So they have very strict accreditation. Okay, like Dude, okay, so I had to stop teaching in like nursing programs and shit because the toxicity within those like is worse than the railroad, Jeff.
Impossible.
It's worse. I would rather work on 5 oil rigs in the hospital, because the thing is that you get a whole bunch of people who have a whole bunch of like street like legitimate credentials behind them.
Yes.
They're all fucking know-it-alls.
Yes.
Okay, everybody cares because you have to care.
Correct.
So it's like, oh, I'm here for the patients. Like, well, no fucking shit, Sherlock. Otherwise, you'd be pumping gas somewhere. I get it. You know, so, so it just creates this absolutely terrible environment where everybody's dick measuring every day of the week.
Your team is assembled of the worst
It's the worst of the worst people who got the best grades in school.
Right.
And the thing about it is like the schools pride themselves on how few applicants they take. It is completely backwards. So like we got this school on the hill up here that's got the famous nursing college.
Yeah.
Completely fucking backwards. Okay, because they're like, oh yeah, our standards are so high that we only accept the top 10% of applicants. It's like there's a shitload of people out there who need a nurse right now. So maybe you ought to come down off that a little bit, And so, but they refuse to do it. And so what is the whole community college turns itself into a 4-year university so it can offer a 4-year bachelor's of nursing. Because then you turn around the American Medical Association, the nursing union. Well, it's not really a union, but they're an accrediting body. It's basically, oh, you need a 4-year fucking degree in order to be a nurse. My mom did a like 18-month program at a women's college in fucking the 1950s.
Right.
Okay, where basically she spent more time learning about bedpans than fucking anatomy. So, but nowadays, like you see what some of these nurses, I've seen the nursing curriculum. It is horrifying, Jeff. So, I mean, it is stuff that like you wouldn't put a chemistry major through. So,
Which is weird because when you get to the actual job, it's
not that.
No, I'm sure that you saw a piece of this because this was a component of it when I saw it last, and I guarantee it hasn't changed.
Mm-hmm.
It's done on the phone.
Oh, a lot of it's done on the phone. Yeah.
Where they give you the symptoms, you type it in,
yep,
and it gives you a series of outcomes.
Yep.
I guarantee you that hasn't changed.
No, probably not. I mean, it's okay, great. It's fine that you have plenty of people who are educated nurses. That doesn't mean that you educate every last one of them to that standard. Okay, I mean, it is fine to actually open the floodgates on that. So, and let all kinds of people in. If they get C's get degrees. That's fine.
This is true.
So, but like, it's just it's an academic arms race out there because there's like 3 things that are wrong with it. Number 1, it's in demand. Number 2, it pays really well.
Yeah.
Okay, so people in the medical profession make bank. Okay, and oftentimes they get pretty cool hours too. You might be an ER charge nurse. You're working 12-hour shifts and stuff like that, but you're like a week on, a week off,
yes.
Kind of thing. Yeah, exactly.
But it also, unfortunately, attracts people who are very opinionated.
Oh yeah.
But couldn't locate Paris on a map.
Yes, you have a lot of that. Yeah.
And I'm not trying to pick on anybody in particular. I'm just going to tell you that, look, the stats don't lie, okay? It's an overwhelmingly female-led discipline.
What, medicine?
Nursing.
Well, nursing for sure.
Yes, so, nursing. Okay?
I wouldn't be surprised if medicine's actually that way too now. I wouldn't be surprised.
I would be, and the reason
I wouldn't be surprised.
I would be for 2 reasons. Number 1 is those that actually go full on into doctor, right, are typically male, but also
I don't know if that's true anymore. I'd have to look.
Well,
I know it's different. It flipped in law. So in law, hands down, more women become lawyers now than men. So
that I understand, but the other point that I'm making about doctors versus lawyers is of doctors that are being imported, it's men.
Oh, that are being imported, yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
So even it's actually really hard to become a U.S. doctor if you were actually educated overseas.
It is.
It's hard,
but they do it a lot.
And actually, a lot of them turn into veterinarians too. So,
well, and to be fair, fortunately, I guess all of my, I would imagine on the flip side, in once you get to veterinarian like doctor range, I would imagine that's overwhelmingly female.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, probably.
I'm guessing.
I'm guessing.
I'm
Yeah, I
guessing.
guess.
Again, I'm taking my former veterinarian's word for this here, but she just as she said, it's like every woman that gets into this wants to hug puppies, Jeffrey. That's why
Yeah,
we
that's
do
true.
this.
Yeah, that's why we do this. Yeah, we don't want to put the puppies down. So
So yeah, I would believe that. But yeah, if you're gonna bring in a class of people that okay, there are other statistics that go into nursing that are just as ugly, right? There is no profession on this planet that actually cheats on their spouses more than nurses.
really,
That is correct.
including cops.
Including I know why you think that.
Yeah, I've
Because
known a few cops, man.
you've known a few cops. And on top of that, um, the stories about cops beat pretty much any infidelity stories of any other occupation. I mean,
Actually,
they're
pilots are pretty fucking bad too.
pilots.
Pilots are really bad. So yes, yes.
But of any profession, yes, nursing is the worst.
Hmm. Of infidelity, that's interesting.
That's correct. And yes, and again, this comes into people that again, I don't want to bag on nurses. I'm going to for a minute. Most of them are very, very opinionated, right? Very, um, I don't want to say narcissistic. That's not what I mean. But there's a certain amount of
They all have a little Nurse Ratchet in them. Yeah.
I don't want that kind of kookiness. Just that sense of
No, not the kookiness, just the
like what I do is super important. This world falls apart without me.
teachers suffer from that too.
They most
Yeah,
certainly do,
they do.
Patrick. And
Yeah.
when it comes down to it, again, this is and I am not picking on nurses per se. I'm picking on women, and it's not that I'm picking on them. It's that they have different interests, right? Is that whole thing where you can go into the grades here, and you'll find that on history and geography, yes, and both things, women score a full letter grade worse than men do, right? And
In
these,
geography?
yep,
Oh yeah.
it surprised me it wasn't worse because look, generally speaking, it's not that men love geography.
No, they just like wars, and
They
so they
like
learn about
wars,
wars.
and
And
through
where they
wars,
are.
they
Yeah,
learn where things are.
that's exactly true.
Correct.
That's how I
Correct.
learned about the world. So
That is
it was
correct.
like Italy, we bombed the fuck out of them. So
Where is
would you
Italy?
like to know a little bit more about this? So,
And then you say, why would they bomb there? Why was this campaign
yeah,
tough
yeah,
here? Oh, there are mountains here. Why is that a
mountains.
big deal,
Yeah.
right? And then when you get down to it, the more you learn about world history, you say, okay, well, roughly what percentage of all human events are impacted by geography? And it's somewhere between, 100 and 100.
Yeah, it's a
And
very narrow band.
and then again, that's the same kind of thing. The people out there, and they're sitting, like doing the stupid Free Palestine chants. I'm like, where is it?
Is that still going on?
Amongst losers, yes.
Okay. That one hasn't escaped Twitter velocity late or Twitter gravity lately. So
so the people that are still
um,
planking, um,
flanking.
the people that are essentially still planking when Tebowing has already happened is
Oh,
they're still wearing uh, the Italian tablecloths around their face and pretending to care about this little strip of land that has never existed, right? But
yeah, you don't hear any news coming out of Gaza anymore.
no, what they do is they wear the uniform to whatever it is they're protesting now.
Yeah, so yeah. It's like wearing a 49ers jersey in the 90s.
Actually, once we, you're correct. Once people don't know this, but in the '90s, the decade had been surrendered to the Cowboys.
It had been surrendered to the Cowboys.
I don't know if they claimed it or there was just a power
They just
vacuum.
showed up and left it on their store,
You,
on their
you,
doorstep. Yeah.
there was no one day that it happened, but
Everybody knew it happened.
it just
Yeah.
one day you turn around and those 49ers jerseys had all become stars.
It all becomes stars. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that sort of thing. And so you have that mixture of people who consider themselves absolute like super geniuses, um, and their role is important, but again, still can't find Paris on a map.
Yeah. 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 Um, yeah. Dude, there's a lot of teachers. Yeah.
Yes,
I mean,
I know.
it's ridiculous how bad it is. I mean, the guard. See, this is why I don't think like the education system's fine as is. I know you want to change it stuff. I get that, but it is full of people who are absolutely so full of shit, and most of the students know it. So,
Right.
and so they kind of have this weird detente going on, So, because I see it on the back end when they come over to college, and we come to the HR day where we have to talk about stuff, and like
Oh
Civil
yeah,
Rights Act.
yeah.
They're like, "Do we have to?" And I'm like, "No." It's like, "You guys just want to read it? That's fine. So if you know it already, that's fine too. Fine by me." And it's just like, oh, thank God. So it's like, wait a minute, you've done this every year, every January, haven't you? Got it. This is so over it, man, because it's just, as the teachers rah-rahing that every single year. And the same thing's true with climate change. They're coming in and they're starting to like they have a healthy level of climate skepticism, because they were all told that by the time they hit college, fucking the world would have been melted. And guess what? It's fucking cold outside. So,
Look, we just within the past week. Well, not the past week. Maybe a couple of days before, we had a snowfall.
we did, yeah, it was a couple weeks ago.
That always
Yeah,
happens
it
to us
always
here.
happens in May. Yeah.
Well,
So,
you're right, Patrick. I mean, there's a number of things. So, number one, I don't expect the average person to have the walkthrough memory to be able to, from kindergarten to now,
mhm.
be able to rattle off every teacher that they had in succession like I can. Right?
Yeah, I,
I
I I think like for grade school, most people can do that.
maybe
Once you
grade
get
school,
past that, it's a little harder.
maybe
Yeah.
grade school, but a lot of people won't because again, that was a while ago, right? I don't expect
Quite a minute
everybody to
ago.
do that, but what I can say is that a lot of people say maybe one, two, maybe three teachers they can name and say this person was awesome,
Oh yeah.
right? And I think that's part of the issue here is that yes, you may have teachers in your life that decided to wave every colored banner that they could find in their classroom. But I think the majority of them are looking at those folks and saying, like, these guys are fucking losers.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll find themselves saying, like, wow, this person really sunk into me. They really, this is the one that made a difference.
Yeah, that's because so controversial statement here, but the I guess not, because you're not going to find a whole bunch of people, or you're going to find a whole bunch of people who agree with me on this. But the thing that really fucked up teaching was Teach for America. Um, it really was because it glamorized something that's actually a shitload of hard work. Um,
It was a it was a neat idea.
well, they turned it into a TDY kind of thing, and it's like, okay,
Yes.
yeah, and it's like, no, what you really need, and you know this from being in an English department that probably had a pretty wide spectrum of tenure on it,
Tenure and origins, yeah.
tenure and
Yeah.
origin, and every staff, every faculty needs that salty fucker who's been there forever.
That's correct.
So yeah, and by denigrating that person's work by basically saying, well, anybody can do this, as long as you care hard enough, Carebear Stare, enough, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like no,
Yeah.
no, no, man, you don't understand how much damage that did to the profession because it invited a whole bunch of fucking weirdos into it at a time when we were finally getting good at scaring the weirdos out of it. Yeah, so um,
Well, in a lot of ways, I mean, so there's always been, all right, there are things that there are certain arguments that I've seen here when it comes to, and I'm sure you've seen this in certain places. Like I know, like in big cities or states where, let's say you're part of of a government program, you're a police officer,
sure.
you're a firefighter, that kind of thing. Here, they have rules that basically say you have to live where you work, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
And I'm not saying necessarily here. So when I was, and I think this may have changed, but when I was there, it was the biggest high school in the city
Yeah.
by
Might
population.
still be.
It's going to be close.
It's gonna be close.
If not, it's going to be one of those
It'll be top five.
lunatic schools over there where my brother is right
Oh
now.
yeah, no, his are probably bigger.
Probably,
Probably.
probably.
Yeah.
because they're the same people that would have been here. They're going over there now,
Yeah,
right? And that's totally fine. But when that was the case, there were plenty of people that were straight up. When I say high profile, I mean high profile,
yeah.
right? We were talking about where did you go to college? I'm like, I'm not wealthy enough to even know what that college is,
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah,
People who are part of programs, people who are part of things that are just so far beyond. It's like, where did you come
yeah,
from?
exactly.
And when they tell you that it's this small place in New Hampshire,
Hmm.
you're like, so were you a redneck or a bazillionaire?
Bazillionaire, yeah,
Bazillionaire?
bazillionaire.
Okay, because you don't
Yeah,
seem like a redneck.
no,
And you're dealing with this kind of crowd here in the public school systems, and that's where you have that mixture of attitudes where the one of the two things drives you, where you either have this like I'm here to make a difference, or um, I'm here because my arrogance demands it. And there's
you do have those.
and
That still exists. That
and
still exists.
to me, I mean, there's a part of that that should exist, right?
Sure, that's fine.
There's a part of that where it used to be that those folks were the ones who took absolutely no fucking lip or garbage, right?
From students or admin.
Correct.
Yeah, or
Correct.
colleagues. Yeah,
Correct. Because
yeah,
these are the same people where it's when they say like, well, when it comes to your staff and you're collecting degrees and trying to brag about who knows what. So I know this.
right.
I don't have to be here a second longer than I don't want to,
No,
because I will go back to my just sitting around collecting money from my family's thumbtack making empire or whatever it is. It's always some. It's like, holy shit, you're John 3M,
yeah, you're
you know,
John three.
or
Yeah,
whatever it is.
yeah.
People that you're surprised are like,
Your
I didn't,
Pete Binder clip.
dude. You know, I'm not kidding.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
you run into people, you're just kind of like, this is the Larry Butterfinger of the
yeah.
Butterfingers.
Of the Butterfingers.
Yeah, yeah. You remember running into these like super high prestigious people in these kind of positions, and uh, there was always that kind of pull that was coming in. But you're right. The whole thing of the Teach for America thing, brilliant idea. Like I think the heart was there.
I think it was flawed from the beginning,
I
man.
think it
So
needed another few rounds of
it definitely needed another hour in the oven.
what
So
potential hazards and drawbacks could we see from this? Is there anything that needs to be tweaked or rethought before we put this thing into action?
well, and I mean the other thing about it is like okay, so if you're going to teach for America and you're going to get kids from Ivy League schools,
Yes.
okay, obviously they're not going to come in here and demand higher salaries, and stuff like that because they're only going to do it for a couple of years. And so like I mean, I think the whole program was addressing something that was actually a non-issue at the time. So because like teaching, like it's always been like, oh, teacher shortages and they don't get paid enough, blah blah blah, and stuff like that. And we both know that's not untrue, but it's not wholly true either. Okay, so because a lot of people like okay, even back when we were starting out, we were making like $32,000, 27,000, I think was the salary back then. The starting teacher, if unless you're getting the math bonus or something like that, it's terrible. Okay,
Yes.
so but you did trade quite a bit of time off for that. And the other thing about it was that like the thing like nobody goes into teaching to get rich. You just want to make sure that you can actually like keep your head above water and actually have like maybe a house in the neighborhood where you teach, at some
Yeah.
point in time kind
Yeah.
of thing. And most people were able to do that, you know. So like Teach for America wasn't really solving this great teacher shortage problem as much as it was basically like trying to fix what people saw as like the plight of teachers, at the time. So
Patrick did use quotes on that, and
yeah.
rightfully so. Well,
Those were dick fingers. Sorry.
they most certainly
Yeah.
were. Well, you that's exactly the point that I was making here about being part of the community here is the Teach for America program didn't force the areas that have teacher shortages and problems to address their underlying
Yeah, of
problems.
course. Yeah.
It allowed you to import kids
Yeah.
from, I'm sorry, um,
Ivy League schools to
Ivy
the
League
south
schools,
side of Chicago. Yeah.
correct,
Yeah.
to go ahead and do a nickel in where it is.
To a nickel and Compton. Yeah. 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 There you
Am I
go.
wrong?
No, you're
Yeah,
not wrong.
yeah. You out there.
Well, they made a whole movie about that. That's what made Coolio famous.
No, he was famous well before then here, but
I know,
but that
but
being
not
said,
as
but
much
yes, yes.
normies. Yeah.
but that's the point here. It's like it was everything that it intended to do. It made a problem worse
Yeah.
because it stopped them from fixing the problems that would have developed homegrown educators from that
Right.
area. And also, that is the exact kind of thing that you fix the teacher problem, you fix the student problem at the same time because you
Yes.
can't do one without
You
the
can't
other.
do one without the other. It's not possible.
And the very idea of like, you know what? I know what's wrong with this society. It's like, what's that? It's like, we just don't have enough New Hampshire teachers because this place would be fucking paradise.
Yeah, we're gonna turn it into Vermont. You know,
It's like,
yeah.
is there anything else about Vermont that's different than Chicago? It's not. I think they're one and the
I
same.
think one
It's
is the
it's
same. Yeah.
virtually the same land and the same
Sea
demographic.
to shining sea.
It's,
You know?
they're just people, right?
It's just people, right?
It's like, well, why do we have to measure them differently by demographics? I wish, Patrick. I wish, dude. I absolutely wish if that was if I'd have gone in there on day one. I swear to you, I would have had a different perspective on day one. The first thing they covered was so last year they made us track people by these demographics.
Mhm.
Say, okay, got it. It's like they're just names now. Everybody gets the same.
Yeah.
I would have been a happy camper. And there's a part of me at one point that said that could have been convinced, right? That could have been convinced by some swinging baloney at some point that actually, yeah, systemic this and this, this and this and this, right? And you and I both know the further you go along, the further you realize that just like you talked about, I have to count DC to make California look better.
We've gone way down that pipe now.
It is the same exact problem where if you exclude this, and this, well, then this group looks really bad. But then you say, well, how come it didn't happen to this group?
Yeah. Why didn't it happen to black immigrants? Yes.
Why didn't it happen to black immigrants?
Yeah.
Why didn't it happen to the Chinese?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right? Very same things. And you're stuck with these things. You say, like, I really hate this because unfortunately the logical conclusions are really bad.
They are, and I mean, the school systems in particular, one of the problems that's kind of baked into the cake, but within it is also its own solution, is that all your schools are locally based.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
I've never been a fan of actually like turning around and saying, "Oh, well, we should federalize blah blah blah," and supplement shit with block grants, yada yada yada. Okay, and I think it was probably about 4 or 5 years ago that I flipped on this. Where before it was like, why do we have like 8 different districts in one fucking town?
Right.
I am a huge fan of that now. Okay, so it is better because you go up and you take a look at the blob that is fucking DPS up there, and the whole city school system starts to suck after a while.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's all broken up like this, and then parents can choice their kids out, you literally punish the admin of that district.
That you do. Yes.
Because if your school starts to go downhill and it's built in a small neighborhood, all right, it doesn't take that many votes to flip a board seat. So no, as your brother's neighborhood is going through on, I don't know, a bi-weekly basis.
No, I saw it happen to that Far East shithole that I used to work at too.
Oh, yeah.
But,
Oh, yeah, no, totally. So, but that's the solution in there too. And so, if you have a school district that's serving a neighborhood that's absolutely fucked up, it is ultimately the responsibility of the neighborhood to fix that. So, and if the neighborhood don't care, okay, fine. I guess you get a shitty school district. So there you go. But eventually what will happen is it'll turn into the east side of Detroit where you can get on Google Earth now and look at it. It looks way greener than it used to. And we're just going to let nature reclaim this land.
So be it.
So be it.
So be it.
I'm tired of that. Oh, what the old neighborhood, it used to be community, blah, blah, blah. It was like, well, if you don't tend to the fucking garden, okay?
The garden will tend to you.
Yeah, because you live in it. So, so stop sitting there and pining for an old days when you weren't willing to actually put any work into it.
No, it's totally fine. I mean, that's the thing is if that is the tack that you've taken, I mean, and you can have it look one of two ways. You can even have it look like bombed out parts of the Middle East.
Right.
Or you can let nature take over.
Right.
And if you let it take over for enough time, hobbits will move in.
Yeah, exactly.
And let me tell you, those dudes pump the local. Those guys spend.
Yeah, you got to see their farmers market. You know,
They eat like 9 meals a day.
9 meals a day. Yeah. Like,
And that's the thing about so I was actually you tell me if I'm off on this, Patrick. Especially in context of those books. Is there sort of a new appreciation, or maybe just sort of an underlying appreciation that people have for Samwise? Like they see him sort of like maybe like the real MVP of the story,
he kind of is. Yeah.
because the last run through I went of this, I was and again I from the more context I get about Tolkien's time in the Great War, right,
Hmm.
and the things that he took from it,
Hmm.
right. There's this thing where like I can see Samwise like after this, not necessarily bagging on Frodo per se, because I think the book goes to good
Pussy.
lengths. Well, so here's the problem. And it's not really a problem. It's just
Good
something
sir, do you have PTSD?
that's
Yeah.
that's this thing is
You
yeah
gonna
he's
grow a beard, and get a whole bunch of tribal tattoos?
am I wrong? Because where it's kind of like
Not
it's
wrong.
like I don't know what his bitch ass. I walked as far as he did.
Right? Yeah,
I
exactly.
guarantee you. It's like, and let me tell you where the show's fucking. Okay, so like we're getting to this last part here. We walked this whole way. It's like you're right here, man. At the one, I'm not an engineer. Okay, I don't know where
I don't
shit
know where
melts.
shit melts.
They
Yeah,
tell me that the melting thing goes in here. You throw it
you
in.
throw it in.
We get all the way here, and I say like throw it in.
You're
What
like,
does he say?
no, yeah,
He
no,
says no,
it's
and
mine.
he says no. I say it's mine. It's like motherfucker. Either it's going in or you're
You're
going in,
going in with it.
because that's how it goes. And that's the thing is like, you know, I'm sitting over here getting upset here. This little like fucking bald monkey thing, he keeps calling me the fat one. Like I was ready to throttle that fucking guy. And then my best friend says like, no, you get out of here.
Go
It's like
home, son.
motherfucker, right? And there's this whole thing. He's like, I got this great attitude. It's like we're gonna do this. We've done stuff before. We're gonna throw this thing in the hole. We're gonna have beers afterwards. That's what we do. We have beers
Right,
afterwards.
right,
And this whole time afterwards, like after this dude, I don't know. Like I got stabbed, right?
right. Right,
I've
yeah.
been stabbed. Fucking it didn't stop me from like killing this big spider thing. Well, I didn't kill it, but I chased it
It
away.
takes away.
But it was big.
It was
That thing got him. And then like I swear to God, after this dude got stabbed, everything he says is just going to nobody's illegal on stolen land. I'm like, fuck you. Um, is there because there are guys like you've seen soldiers like guys that we went to the airport with where there are dudes that are haunted by shit that happened, and then there's dudes that's like, oh, we set this trap, dude. We blew up
Everything.
everything,
Yeah.
right?
Well, yeah, and so like, and the guys who fall in the latter category far outweigh the guys who fell in the
Are they?
former. Oh yeah.
Okay, all right, all
So
right.
because like I'm thinking just like so even my experiences with uh okay, so we can just fast forward. All those guys were fucking yeah at the airport. They were all Vietnam
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Cold War era guys. So, but if I actually go back and if I look at all the veterans that I've had in my classes over the years, 9 out of 10 of them are absolutely fucking fine. So they're just like, yep, went over there, did a thing, blah blah blah. It was fine. So did bad shit happen? Yeah, but I don't need to talk about it. So it's like bad shit happens in every life. It just comes in different forms. So kind of
Right,
thing. And then you
right,
meet a guy who's just really hung up about it.
right,
So
right.
because it was like it's obviously the peak. It's like that athlete in high school. Okay, who's going to peak at 11th grade? So and I've just seen it with a couple of folks who it's like, okay, so you're a legit badass, blah blah blah. You did your 4 combat tours, whatever, kind of thing, and you came home and you started smoking a shitload of weed. So and you can't get away from it. Got it. All right. Or you became a severe alcoholic. To the point in time where it's like, so it's not even possible for you to get back to where you were before,
And I believe,
at this
let's
point in
preface
time.
it. I don't think either of us are downplaying the effect this has
No,
on sin. Not at
no,
all. No.
no. But like the whole narrative, of like, oh my God, an entire generation of Americans got fucked up by the blah, blah, blah. And so we shouldn't do anything about anything anywhere ever, you know,
Uh,
because somebody might get their feelings hurt now. It's like, Jesus, like, listen to the guys who actually went there, man. I mean, every last one of them, I mean, with the exception of a few guys that I know who went through some pretty bad shit, and actually one of them got really fucked up by it. Most of them were like, yeah, yeah, okay, like, all right, so you grow, you like go to high school, and you go to war, and then you come home and you start a family. And you don't worry about all that shit no more. and that's how most of them are. But then there's this, and like, so some of it has to do, this fault of the army, but it's also the fault of like, I blame Hollywood for some of this too. You know,
Because Hollywood is to blame for
it,
some
it,
of
it
this,
is
Patrick.
it is definitely to blame for some of this. The silent soldier who suffers, kind of thing. Fucking Chris Kyle all over again, and it's like, oh, come on, dude. So, like, and then you actually talk to people who are veterans in some of these things. And like, I know a guy, well, I used to know a guy at the yacht club before it sank. So, I mean, he was pretty heavy duty, and he was like, I mean, very straight up about this. He was like, I am embarrassed, for some of my former teammates and colleagues and stuff. He was like, like they treat us like we're fucking babies. So, he's the same thing's true with the VA and stuff like that. He was like, I don't need pills for this. So it's like I need fresh air and exercise, and it's not what they're going to give me, so I think kind of thing. It's the same thing. He used to get really pissed off when, like, because he had like we just had Memorial Day, but like the big one was always Veterans Day in the fall, where all these guys would come in to the yacht club and get their free steak. And these are guys who wouldn't show up the other 365 days of fucking year. They were just like, oh, it's Veterans Day, I get free steak today, kind of thing. He was, I mean, like, there was nothing you could do other than be that show up on Veterans Day kind of
Yeah,
veteran.
yeah.
Okay, the guy who's got your DV tags on your car. Okay, and you're walking in after you just came from the CrossFit gym, so kind of thing. And he'd be like, that guy peaked because he's now like he's done the best that he's ever going to do. He's never going to build anything. He's never going to actually do anything, more exciting than what he did over in the sandbox because now he is absolutely a slave to, all of that like experience. And so he'll take every benefit that he can and do absolutely nothing in return because he thinks that he's cashed out now. So, and this is a guy who built his own company after he came back, you know?
Right, right.
Yeah. So, and he actually wouldn't hire veterans for that reason unless he knew them
I was gonna
personally.
say, I'll bet you there's a type of veteran or
He was fine with some
yeah.
of them, but if like he was supposed to be like part of this program where you had preference for veterans, blah blah blah, and it was going to save him a lot of money and yada yada. But he's like, fuck that. So he's like, I know exactly who I'm going to get out of this. So he's like, I'm not even going to think about it. So and I mean, so that guy was pretty stand up about that. And I've known a lot of guys. My brother-in-law's the same way. He did 3 tours. He never talks about him. I mean, I if I could get him away from his wife for 10 minutes and talk to him about it, he'd probably tell me some really cool shit. I was like, yeah, that was really fun.
Well, this is
Yeah.
and so yeah, this
So,
is
because
this
I
is
mean, Harold would talk that way about Vietnam, man.
that's what I'm
So
talking
yeah,
about. Yeah, yeah. Would well,
he was
he
Korea
was
and
Korea and Vietnam. Yeah,
dude, he was a war junkie.
it didn't sound like he had to be either.
No, he just liked it.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Yeah, he seems like the type where it's kind of like, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell that like kind of pudgy girl at the bar that I killed that spider thing, and it's going to be
Yeah,
cool.
it's gonna be cool.
Versus like fucking Sir Mopes a lot. My shoulder hurts.
My shoulders.
I get it, man. You got
It's my anniversary.
it's like I get it, dude. You got stabbed by a fucking Nazgul, but the
It's pretty high up there, man.
it is high up there. But if you're not telling me that like some of the other dudes, that the contemporaries around there didn't take some kind of fucking Middle Earth shrapnel one way or
Oh
another,
yeah.
I'm sure they had some shit to say. But uh, like the other thing about this here is it's also not 1917. It's also not
Hmm.
the other thing. Like you talk about like the silent soldier thing. It's not as though nobody talks about it. It's not as though this is like so taboo
You
that you
can't get
can't get
away
help,
from it now, man.
right?
So yeah, no, like so when guys came back from World War I, it was kind of taboo. It was like, don't
Yes.
talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you did your service for Uncle Sam, blah blah blah. All right, go get a job. You know, and the same thing was true after World War II. Vietnam is the one that kind of changed it. So because guys came back home and like, okay, so my buddy Dave, he came back in 1968 and he flew into Seattle. He threw his uniforms in the fucking trash. So because he was getting those protesters right outside the baggage claim at the airport. Um, and so yeah, we look back on that. We're like, oh my god, that was fucking terrible, and it was okay. But now it's gone completely the other direction, where it's like, okay, I get a discount at Lowe's, I get a free parking pass, I don't have to pay, fucking license plate registration fees every single year, all this kind of stuff. That's just little knick-knacky bullshit, that just basically turns a whole bunch of people into, like this separate class of like special citizens that don't really need to work anymore. So, and that's just like that is new, okay? So because after Vietnam, you came home, you did not get fucking disability and shit for the rest of your life, okay?
Unless you were disabled.
Unless you were disabled, and then you got put in a shitty hospital somewhere. So
And I'm not saying that that's awesome,
that's
but
terrible. Yes.
right.
So then I'm not offering that
This
as a
is
solution.
this is
So,
not to say that they haven't made certain necessary improvements.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yes.
But it's just and it's separated out a whole bunch of people from like normal population that first and foremost, like veterans are not a large part of it. They're very small. So it's not like when you and I were growing up where everybody's dad did a little bit of time,
We
kind of thing.
also lived here, but
We also lived here, but I mean, that wasn't uncommon because both of our parents, like my dad was definitely, and your dad was definitely draftable age during Vietnam. Okay.
that's correct.
Yeah, exactly. And so the draft still existed at that point in time. And so there was a very non-zero chance that you were going to wind up in the service at one point in time or another. And now, ever since the end of like communism,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
where we go to an all volunteer military, it's only like 1 or 2%. And I mean, if you actually take a look at all of the branches, they're about half the size that they were, in 1990. Okay, the Army's got like half as many divisions, the Navy's got half as many ships as it used to, and so it's become much more of an elitist kind of thing. It's one of two things: either you're okay, you're going to go to jail. That's still a thing where it's like, well, you can go to jail, or you can go, sign up to, join the Marine Corps or the Army or whatever. But like it's not like it used to be, where everybody, and I mean, you didn't have to. I mean, you couldn't go to Walmart and throw a rock and not hit a veteran. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's not like that anymore. And
Ace
so
Hardware was famously.
Ace Hard, oh yeah, that's where you see the guys still wear their Korean War hats.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you're gonna need a metric for that.
You know what? I mean, that's the kind of the weird thing about it, and I'm not. I don't recall my dad. Dad never did any of that Memorial Day shit.
Mm-mm.
He never did. It was.
My dad would march in the parade every now and then. So
Oh,
just
okay.
because he was still part of that reserve unit, and so when
Oh,
they would
yeah.
go, he'd be like, "Yeah, okay, I'll dress up and go." So
It was just the day that my dad hung the flag outside. That's pretty much it.
pretty much the same thing with my dad. Um, he wouldn't go to the like there were kind of like class reunions kind of thing. Yeah, he
Yeah,
wouldn't go to
yeah,
those.
yeah.
You know,
It was never there was never any hunting and pecking for free shit. It was
my dad hated that. So
yeah,
I mean, so like my mom for years, and yeah, I mean, you could see my dad go like,
yeah.
when my mom, well, I think you getting sick because Gulf War syndrome, blah blah blah. You could see him getting visibly like, fuck that, shut up, you don't know what you're talking about, and I don't want other people to know about that. Did he get rained on by oil, fire, thunderstorm? Yes. Okay. Did that give him cancer 15 years later? No. So come on, man. So just being like 75 gave him cancer. So I mean, and like, and that still exists with guys who come out of the military. All right. So, and I saw it over there because we had one guy, he's a good friend of my brother and I's. Okay. And he absolutely abused the system. Everything that he could get for free, he could. And he was an Air Force guy. And he did do a tour in Afghanistan where he rode around a desk chair for an entire year. And guess what? Lo and behold, that desk chair was lethal to his back. And he got his 100% disability. And that motherfucker would
Yeah,
show
100%.
100%, man, 100%. Because you can go and you can find ways to, like, and just ham it up a little bit and get the right doctor to sign off on the right thing. And nobody wants to tell you no because, oh, thank you for your service, kind of thing. So the one guy who straightened me out on that was he was a legit war junkie. So he started in the 1980s. So he went to Desert Storm as a tanker, got out, okay, and then got bored after 6 months and went right back in, went to OCS and became an officer. So after he finished some college and stuff like that, and he stayed in until I knew him in the 2010s. Okay, and he made it all the way to colonel. So he had commanded a battalion of an armored division in fucking Gulf War II or Iraq. And so, I mean, you're talking about a guy who went from loading a fucking gun like your buddy did, or actually, I think he was a driver. So, and I think that's what Nate was too, wasn't he? I think he was a driver. So, but anyway, he went all the way from that to commanding like literally 1,000 men in combat.
Right, right.
Kind of thing. And I remember there was one point in time where I don't know how it came up. We were out for beers with some of the other guys or something like that. And someone it was like one of those Veterans Day things. So I was like, "Oh well, Dave, let me buy a beer. Thank you for everything." He's like, "Fuck you." He's like, "I signed up for every last thing." So he's like, "I had the time of my life. I got to play with multi-million-dollar equipment.
Yeah.
Okay, I got to sleep in on a lot of days that normal people don't get to sleep in on." He's like, "I spent years actually like not having to pay for food, clothes, beer, all kinds of stuff." And he says, and I made like the best friends that you could possibly make in your entire life, and I got paid for it all along the way too.
Right. They paid me for shit I would do for free,
Yeah,
guys.
that's exactly what he was saying. So, and he was like, "Yeah, I got to do things that you people cannot imagine, and I got paid for it." So, and he was like, "If anything, I owe you a beer." And I mean, this guy's a colonel, all right. So and he was just not having any of it, dude. And so ever since then, and I still see people do the thank you for your service. I don't do it. So because I have a lot of respect for that guy, and he's right. So ever since, if you were in Vietnam in 1968 when they stopped the draft in '72, okay, fine, I'll buy you a beer. I got it. Because getting drafted is about the grossest violation of civil rights.
Yeah, this is something I really struggle with.
I mean, people bitch about having to pay like registration taxes or get like fucking car insurance. Okay, there is something the government can mandate you to do that is much worse than any of those things. So if you don't like photocops, well, I got something for you, buddy.
We wouldn't know how to handle it if we did that again.
It's never going to happen.
Yeah.
So it's not going to happen because it would be, um, first of all, like
You'd have to discharge so many of the people that you drafted.
you'd find a million different ways to get out of it. And then the other thing is, it's like whoever pulled that trigger politically is dead. So maybe actually dead, but
Perhaps, but I mean, I would argue that if we were in the position where we needed to conscript soldiers, we're in pretty bad shape.
it's already bad already. Yeah,
I mean, it's not as though it's something that's impossible to not implement again. It's just that the steps, the sheer amount of danger that we'd have to be in order for us to get to that point where we'd even consider it,
yeah.
our country would be in such dire straits at that point that I don't know if that would help.
It'd either be so bad that people all recognize, okay, fucking, the Chinese are invading California.
Kinda, yeah.
It's like, all right, so let's do the draft, okay, but I mean, the thing about that is like, this was pointed out on a YouTube series that I watched that deals with military. It's military too, kind of thing. They were just talking about how many registered fucking deer hunters there are in California. They said, well, all you'd have to do is put a tag limit out.
You think that's a joke?
It's not a joke, man.
Bro, oh my God. Just
You'd have to tell people not to keep the ears.
they do it anyway.
They do it anyway, yeah. Exactly.
They do it anyway. This is bro, this is I don't want to, I bagged on, the fucking Europores last week for the no air conditioning. But
I'm sorry, I feel bad for them now. So
I do too.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's. I'll come back to that, but I'll just say it this way: there's that same misconception that they have where, and I used to think this way too in certain ways, but I was like that concept for a long time of the amount of firearms that we have in this country and who actually possesses them is really a bigger deal than anyone wants to give it credit.
It's a way bigger deal.
Like way bigger deal than anyone wants to give it credit for in terms of you wouldn't have to take volunteers to
Mm.
do this because number one, all right, so let's say, for example, let's say that the Chinese, for whatever reason, having signed their own death warrant, decided they were going to invade this country, which I'm sorry, I can give you any number of logistical reasons why this is an impossibility, but if the dice were rolling, they said they were going to go for this, okay. Number one, the number of enlistees
Oh, it'd be through the roof.
would be, I mean, in terms of recruitment targets,
No problem.
through the roof,
Yeah, of
okay?
course.
But for those people that stayed behind and said, well, I don't need to join an army to kill people, you're right.
You don't? Yeah.
No problem.
Nope.
No
No
problem.
problem.
The sheer amount of those people and the amount of damage that some people can do with the firearms that we have is staggering.
Oh yeah. No, man. I mean, it's kind of surprising that like gun violence is lower than what it is, that is as low as it is compared to exactly how well armed Americans are. I mean, you can take a look at it. They were talking like there was something I was seeing on Australia the other day where they had the great big gun buyback like
Oh
20
yeah,
years ago,
yeah,
and you just see like the crime and the gun buyback like cross each other in the middle of the graph,
yeah,
kind of thing. Because okay, so the guys who didn't sell their guns back,
yeah. What
yeah,
about them?
exactly. What about them? Yeah. So, but like the other thing is it makes so many things that people would see in like a Hitlerian type state
Impossible.
impossible in the United States. Okay, because okay, so like here, Colorado Springs. All right, we got a city that's basically rolling up on 700,000 people. Okay, we've got about 800 cops. Okay, so if they just like
What's the math on
see,
that?
this is the hilarious thing where people are like, "Oh my God, COVID was blah blah blah," and I get that, okay, but also understand that they couldn't make you stay home. They literally couldn't do it. Okay, then they just said, "Okay, you need to stay home," and a lot of people, yeah, okay, whatever, all right. So, but if it came down to it, like even Polis was getting to that point that we can't keep doing this, man, because they're gonna get called out on it. And then only your most sheeple of cities, kept that going for a long time, in some respects because, peer effects. But you can't do that in an armed society. So where you just mandate that everybody stays in your fucking house for the next year. Okay? Because they'll be like, well, what are you going to arrest all of us? So, and I mean, all of us have much bigger guns than you have, Mr. Policeman. Okay? So, or we'll take yours from you, kind of thing. And it's just, I mean, the same thing. They talk about like the FBI or ICE raids and stuff like that, and like thinking that there's a fucking army-sized division of ICE guys who will descend on San Antonio and basically scrub the city. No, all right, it's guys, it's ten vans worth of guys. Okay,
If that.
if that.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, you're not talking about this thing that can just be done because you saw them do that in that fucking Hunger Games movie or whatever. It doesn't work like that
What you
because
paying
oh,
for?
there's a shitload of guns, man. So like the gun owning statistics are hilarious, dude. So it's actually really it's what we call bifurcated data. Okay, it actually has multiple means in it depending on what you include in it.
Mm-mm.
Okay, depending on how you do it. And so the average American household has like an eighth of a gun in it. Okay, because still most American households, well over half, don't actually have a gun.
What
Okay.
about those that do?
Okay, so then there's huge spike, a huge spike of homes that have one gun. There's almost no houses that have two guns. There's almost no houses that have three guns. There are houses that have 0, 1, or more than 10.
I was gonna say, when does the next spike come in, Patrick?
Yeah, so it is the funniest data point that I've ever run across, like in all this stuff that I've looked at. I was like, more than 10, really? It was like, shit, I think I got about 9. I need to go get another one so I can be one of the cool kids. So,
I mean, again, and that's where you again, where if you bisect the data from there again, you say like, well, so how much gun violence is coming from the households with 10? None.
none, 0.
None.
Yeah, none.
None.
Mm.
And this is again, I don't like it. You can point to any number of reasons on this, and that's fine. It's just the data is very conclusive on this, where you say, all right, take out the gun violence from these two ethnic groups,
Oh, yeah.
and America's gun violence per 100,000 drops below Canada's.
Well, and that's the thing that's really funny is like I don't know which method includes. I know you're talking about black, but what's the second one?
Hispanic.
See, that's the one that's kind of weird because actually knife crime amongst Hispanics is way worse than any other category.
I'm not saying that that's not way worse. I'm not counting
Yeah.
knives. What I'm doing, because I don't know, it wouldn't, to tell you the truth, it wouldn't surprise me if Canada's knife related violence
I don't know.
was pretty high, given that Canada has a big influx of people from very specific cultures. That knife violence is very high.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me. I just don't know the numbers. But what I do know is that if you take out those two groups, that the actual gun violence rate per 100,000.
If you just took out blacks, it would probably do it. So
it's a big enough chunk, bro. But you know,
well, see, and that's the thing is like I was actually studying that, a long time ago because this was kind of a tangent that I went down for a couple of years there before I settled on a different topic. But
yeah,
so if you take a look at like major U.S. cities that have like high violence, high rates of violent crime. Okay, Hispanic cities that are predominantly more Hispanic, have more per capita violent crime.
the stabby.
It's a lot of stabby, not a lot of killy. So
Well, that can kill you.
it can kill you, but oftentimes that's part of a message, okay, kind of thing. And so like knives like actually serve a better purpose. And so you can take a look at like San Diego, San Antonio, LA, fucking San Jose, Miami, cities that are predominantly Hispanic. They don't have the murder rate that places like Indianapolis, St. Louis, Chicago, yeah, New Orleans have. Atlanta.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's because gun crime is much more steeped in that culture of street crime than it is in the Hispanic communities where it's more gang related. So you send a message by cutting somebody, kind of thing.
Well, I mean, that's I hate to say it, that's actually a little bit more. That's a little bit more in line with, say, the classic Italian mob.
Exactly. Yeah.
I understand the films definitely want to make it point out to make it look like a bloodbath. In those periods, really wasn't. It happened.
It happened.
But at the same time, a lot of that was, well, we don't want to escalate things that far. We'd rather send a message,
Oh yeah.
right, than do this because when we do this to you, you will do this to us, right? And truth be told, there are parts of Latin America where it is that exactly.
Oh yeah. Yep.
To forget the knifeies, right? It's there's not just that, but also the shooties, right?
Oh fuck yeah. Oh dude, yeah. Well, like if you get in a place that's like fully cartel, and that's the thing is like a lot of people don't talk about this, but basically most of your black street gangs don't exist anymore. So they've been basically wiped out by the cartels. So in a lot of these places,
you're right.
You don't have the Crips and the Bloods like you did back in the 90s. So, I'm sure it still exists on some level, but they are not the ones in control. So, it is all fucking cartel land now. So,
same thing goes with so the Italian mafia was wiped out by the Russian mafia, but the Russian mafia has been wiped out by a lot of the other like cartel places too.
Oh yeah, well the cartel goes all the way up to the northern border. So
that's correct.
Yeah,
yeah,
so.
yeah. And I get it because those dudes. Look, we used to have a problem with Irish organized crime.
Oh yeah, just the gangs of New York in 1980 or 1880, whatever.
Those dudes were too friendly to survive. Oh, that's a weird thing to say, but
you bring your fist to a knife fight. That's not gonna work.
Yeah, yeah, that is true, man. It's sort of a weird thing, but yeah, that's sort of again to look at me in the face and look at those statistics and say, well, the problem is over policing of certain groups. Like
that's baloney.
No, man.
Just go ask people who live in those communities; they won't tell you that. So what's the problem? The problem's sitting on a couch down the street, man. On the front porch. So
I can't tell you.
Yeah.
Don't kill me. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's yeah, and to try and couch it in that way is so ridiculously dishonest. And I don't know.
It all goes back to the socialism octopus, man. It's like
as all
of its arms just feed the mouth. So And that's what it is. And the whole thing is, well, I want shit without having to work for
Why is it
it. I
always?
don't know, man. It's just that's what it comes
You're
down
not
to.
wrong.
So, and I'm sorry, the cops enforce the current capitalist regime. So obviously they have to go because they're the ones with the guns. No, motherfucker. We just went through 20 minutes of explaining to you why the cops really can't tell you what to do if there's 100,000 of you on one side of this debate.
You think? I mean, that's the thing is, you think that those guys don't also think that, yeah, maybe these red light cameras are bullshit.
Oh, the cops? I don't know. Maybe.
You think that that a significant number of these cops are basically, in terms of like, well, actually, I don't see what the people think at all. It is, that I take my marching orders, and I don't see things from the perspective of the average man at all. No,
Oh
that's
no,
total
of
bullshit.
course it's
No,
that's bullshit.
of course they see
So,
things as
dude, they see the
ridiculous.
worst of the worst every single
Of
day, man.
course.
So they see this is one thing. Like cops that I knew, they said, "Yeah, the thing that sucks most about my job is I always meet people on the worst day of their lives." So,
That's
and I was like,
yeah.
"Yeah, that kind of sucks, man." So, yeah.
Yeah, and that's the tough thing. That is the tough thing. That is one of the hardest things that I find uh, trying to quell my own blood pressure levels as I watch these fucking arrest videos where some fucking like 23-year-old girl is throwing herself on the floor and having a tantrum. It's just like, would you just step on her already, or just like it's just there's this thing where it's just I wait for this whole thing of like, whoops, my camera slipped, and then somebody wakes up with a boot mark on their face. There's just like, it doesn't happen.
No,
These guys are so much more. When people break this out and say like, look at how untrained these people are, it's actually no. These people have 10 times the patience that I would, 5 times the patience that Pat would, because your magnitude's better than me, right? But there's a saintliness to some of these people here that has been trained into them, that you talking about it and saying they're untrained,
hmm.
no, no, because we have parents. We have parents who, look, they were in the service, which means they knew guys that got arrested on weekends
Oh
sometimes,
yeah,
which means they knew dudes and they said, like, what happened to your teeth? It's like,
right.
well, I got in a fight with these guys. The cops came in. The cops said to knock it off. I was still swinging elbows. So I didn't mean to hit the cop, but I did hit the
But I
cop.
did hit the cop. Now I have to go to court in a month.
I have to go to court in a month, and I have to have dental surgery,
Right. Yeah.
right? And you look at these people, it's like, wow, man, like the front four of your teeth are really good looking, but the rest are shitty. It's like, well, these
Yeah.
didn't come out of my head.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. These are the ones that got stayed. That stayed.
Yeah, these got put in afterwards. That's why they look like they're in good shape. We all know that in things where they talked about, like, what did the cops do to you? Well, they were putting me in the car.
Yeah. When they were putting me in the car. After I came to. Yeah.
Yeah, and there was just this thing of like, back in the day, in terms of like what the cops would not tolerate, the shit that you see where some fucking like kid is screaming at them, I was like, no, man,
No,
that
man.
is that
You
is.
get a face full of knuckles. So yeah. So
So I'm not saying that that was right. I'm just saying
that's
that
not
where
right.
it
Yeah.
comes from,
Yeah. No.
right?
No. They're way more patient, and that's the thing. Like. So cops are a little bit more disciplined about certain things because they
Way
have to be.
more.
Otherwise, like you're fucked. I mean, it doesn't take much to fuck up as a cop and actually just derail your career. It's kind of like teaching, man. So there's a few things
Yeah,
that if you
sure.
do in teaching, you're fucked, and everybody's going to know that you did it. So and you're not going to be able to recover from that.
Well, I did watch one of Schwarzenegger's hidden gems the other day, Kindergarten Cop.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
and I gotta say, as far as that movie does not get remotely enough credit for how good it actually is.
I haven't seen that in a minute.
It's brilliant, but
Yeah,
one thing that you cannot do is you can't go over to the kid whose dad has been walloping a little
and
bit
fucking punch him right in
and
the.
throw punches at him.
Yeah,
And don't get me wrong, everybody in the theater, I guarantee, was cheering at the time.
oh
And the
yeah.
principal is kind of like, what was it like to hit that son of a bitch?
Your
And he's
principal
just
would
gonna,
not say that to you today.
she
No.
would not, that tiny little lady. And then he looks at her, it's like, it felt good.
Yeah,
She wouldn't do that. She'd be like, I don't care if you're a cop, I can't have
I
you
can't
here.
have you do that. Yeah, no.
Right?
So
Um, but at the same time, yeah, that's the sort of thing that you did what? You're 100% in the right
yeah,
emotionally.
yeah.
You're fired.
Yeah, you're fired.
and we have to press charges.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So no, yeah, like I mean, it's better, but like the thing about that is like it's just like instant gratification. It's like, all right, that guy got what he got, and now this
It's a movie.
problem's fixed. It's a movie.
Yes.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure that still happens in some respects out there, where it's like, okay, so there's a slightly violent solution to this problem that's going to be permanent, So, but you just don't see cops do that, man. So and I mean, like the couple cops that I've talked to since the body cam thing, they fucking love them. So they're like, this is great. I mean, I used to have to like figure out how I was going to get the jury to believe me that this guy came that far off the hook, kind of thing. So, and now it's all on tape, and I don't have to worry about any of that. So, because yeah, he actually did try to do that, So, but yeah, and I don't know, man. I mean, some of that stuff just doesn't seem like it has too much gas in it anymore. I mean, like there is a law of like natural consequences, where even like after a bit, it's like, all right, so obviously, like ICE scrubbing out like some bad communities here and there didn't result in some kind of like fucking, crystal knocked. you know,
Strange that
strange
it did
that
not.
it did not. Yeah. And the same thing's true in some of these cases. Like, dude, I went over Taco Bell today, so Sunday's turning into my Taco Bell day.
It's not a bad day.
It's not a bad day. It's very slow.
It's what a king does.
It's I feel kind of kingly, on certain days where it's just like, yeah, I cooked good dinner last night, man. I'm off the hook today. What do I want to eat? So, but there's that fucking homeless spawner right next to my fucking, like Taco Bell over there.
Is there really?
There is. There's a set of dumpsters over there that has a fucking cage, okay, with a little spinny guy in it. And it's just, there was a guy who had a liquor box, like a Canadian, like a wild turkey box.
Oh,
Okay, like, and it was empty, but he was holding it up over his head like this, and then just walking around in circles.
for what?
Dude, this guy was like the absolute fence zombie. So, absolute fucking fence zombie.
Oh,
And so like, normies only have to see things like that so often where they take a look at like some of these arguments about police abuse and stuff like that, and they look at all they have to do is see one of those things like that, and it's like, dude, someone needs to get that guy out of here. So it's like, come on, this isn't good for him, even remotely. Okay, so this is a guy who obviously needs a little TLC. Okay, and I don't know what form, but like just this whole thing about, well, like police suppression, blah blah blah. It's like, no, obviously there's people in society who need to be policed. Okay, and it's for their own good in this case.
right.
But the fact that like you'll see people say, "Oh yeah, well he's just living his authentic self." It's like, come on, man. And that's why I'm telling you. I mean, I don't know how long we're going to do this podcast, but I'm going to put a pin in this one. Episode 410. The state's going to go red again, man. So it's going to take a few years, but I'm telling you, man, like we're going through California light version right now. I'm actually going up to Denver next week. I'm curious to see how bad it is. So, but if like there are neighborhoods in this town where you never used to see that shit,
Right.
now you're starting to see it, and it like I'm telling you, the voter backlash is coming. So, because that's one thing that is true about this state is that we're about 10 years behind everybody else in the country for some fucking reason. But, it doesn't take much for everybody to get pissed off and show up to some weird election. And it might be this fall, man. I don't know. So, but we shall see. But I'm just telling you, man, you're going to see it on the local levels first. So, but yeah, it won't be too long before we have we have a Republican governor. So maybe one more cycle. We'll see.
Probably one more cycle, if I were to guess, maybe two.
Maybe two.
And that's the part of the problem here is Colorado, for all things, it's not the top spot anymore. Places, unfortunately, like Boise and other stuff like this have unfortunately made themselves Democratic sanctuary spots
Yeah, I don't think Colorado's going to do that. It's too expensive.
It's too expensive.
It's too expensive.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
We were not too expensive for a while.
Yeah, 10 years ago would have been a good time to do that, but I think
10,
yeah,
15. It's just when
yeah, 2015. Yeah.
well, I would say 10, 15 years ago
Yeah.
would have been there. Dude, I remember. Look, when I was a kid here too, I remember there was this sort of like anti-California, anti-Texan sentiment.
Oh
When I
yeah.
was growing up here, even though both groups of people I knew from both places,
Fine.
great people,
Yeah, fine.
right?
Yeah.
Great people. But a lot of the people here that came after that influx, right? Yeah, they are a problem, and it's not that they're every human being is entitled to a period of growth. And this is not to say that my current views on things are the terminus of where all things are, because number one, I'm not, done traveling, right? And
Right.
number two, that implies some sort of like, well, I have reached the pinnacle of any one place could be. That's ridiculous. Everybody's going to be at different places and they're going to see things a different way. I can tell you from having been in goddamn San Francisco like 2.5 weeks ago,
Yeah.
right? Staying in downtown San Francisco one evening, right? I know how they have the problem there because nobody over there lives in fucking downtown San
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Francisco.
Yeah.
Everybody lives, like I said, I crossed the bridge, okay? It's,
They're all over there.
well, yeah, I go over there and it's like when Uncle Ruckus saw White Heaven, I was like,
Ronald Reagan,
you know what I'm talking about?
greatest white man that ever lived. You know?
I fucking hated black people, Ruckus. So you go over there and you see the people is like, yes, you can vote this way because you live here,
Right.
right? And
Okay, that makes sense. I see what you're saying.
that's what I'm saying is,
Yeah.
but anybody in downtown San Francisco proper, either they're so diehard part of the system that they're true believers,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They're the people that say like, well, my boyfriend got stabbed to death here, but I didn't report who did it because that would be
Yeah. Right.
racist, right? Um, that's a true story.
That sucks, man.
That's a true
Yeah.
story, right? Because it's not like that dude was coughing up blood saying like, "Tell my mother I was a true believer."
Right,
No, he
yeah.
was just kind of like, "Fuck everything I voted for," right? It's as he died, right? And nobody thinks like that, but she actually did that. But the point being here, you have that mix of those people, right? And it's because they're part of a subgroup that is so deeply entrenched with that,
Yeah. Yeah.
where you cannot divorce it. There's no part
I
of
don't
kind of
think
like
we have that here.
we don't. We have posers that play act like
I think
it.
there's some folks up in Denver and Boulder that might play act as that, but it's not that true. Yeah. Well, and then on top of it, it's really small community. So
It is because you
yeah.
have, to be fair, like, and this is a thing that I totally understand. This is, when we're talking about Frodo being a pussy or whatever. This comes down to the whole thing of like, if you go back a few generations of people and they live in San Francisco for a reason, there was a time, and you and I both know that, and you and I have both probably have relatives or friends that were in that period where it was like, no, actually, that period from about 68 to about 78 was a death sentence,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You didn't say what you were. You had no pride in what you did. You just tried to blend in because people would kill you, right?
Yeah.
So there is that part of that entrenched attitude of, I come from that. And so there is this community of that. We didn't have that here.
No. 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 We've never had anything like that here. So
No.
no, it's remarkably more chill and stuff like that. But what Colorado does have is it's got a lot of suburban normies. So, and I'm telling you, the more homeless spawners that show up in the fucking suburbs,
Yes.
the sooner
Yes.
that we're going to be getting that. And those San Francisco type people who run the state house are going to get fucking wrecked. Okay.
That's correct.
Yeah, they're going to get wrecked pretty hard. So
They're trying to do things right now
yeah.
that are basically like, we know our time is coming, so get this in.
They're trying a lot of things right now that are a little bit crazy. So yeah, they've actually Polis has had to veto a bunch of them just in the last 2 weeks.
You know what? You mentioned that shit, and I
Yeah.
did see all the fucking blowback he was getting
from Susan, whatever her name is.
Tina Peters, and
yeah.
from some of the more extreme things and kind of like some of the more identity based fucking measures. I'll tell you the one that really has people pissed off was the assault rifle thing.
The magazine ban?
I don't remember the full details on it
Yeah.
here, but evidently assault rifles are not an easy thing to come by in this state right now.
Uh, they, they are, but they're nerfed somehow. I can't remember if it's
That's
magazines
what I'm
or
saying
something.
is
Yeah.
it was that it may have had to do in just getting them, but I heard about it from a Californian.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. No, it has something to do with the manufacturer origin, if I recall.
It was something that
It was
wasn't
something like that.
straightforward
Yeah.
enough to
Yeah.
for me. Yeah, yeah, but it was a complete end around to do something that
They're doing a couple things like that right now, man. I mean, they're trying to get train service set up in Denver, and they're going to spend millions and millions of dollars on a train that basically runs along the side of 36 and doesn't actually drop you off at Union Station. So they're trying to do all these fucking things right now because I think that like even though maybe it doesn't come this fall, so it's coming because a lot of the stupid ass policies that the state has pursued over the last like since COVID
yeah.
specifically are starting to blow up. Okay. And they're starting to get a serious amount of pushback from large constituencies within the state.
You mean normies?
Exactly. Normies who 9 times out of 10 could give two fucks about Colorado politics. Whatever. It's just red team, blue team. Okay. It's like whatever's going on the national level, I got to carry it all the way down to the local level. But now people are looking at some of this shit and they're like, wait a minute, you're spending money on what? And that was the thing. They've always got something where they're trying to tear down Tabor every single time.
Yes.
It always gets shot down. They're going to give it another Hail Mary again this fall because they keep outrunning it. But I remember even the last election, the 2024 election, where they had that thing where it was like, well, do you want your money back or do you want us to spend it on this? Okay. And even this was like cops or something like that. And everybody's like, no, give me my fucking money back. I mean, like a 2-to-1 margin, dude. So, and everybody, oh my God, this state is terrible, blah, blah, blah. We can't have nice things, kind of thing.
This is how
And
it
it was like,
begins.
actually, it's this law that makes sure that we do get nice things. Because otherwise, you guys would go out and spend a lot of money on fucking more homeless spawners.
Well, again, I hate to. It's not as though the state all fits into that fucking Olive Garden
Right.
test, but the whole thing comes down to it's like we will buy you anything you want if you eat it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If you put it in your purse and take it home, yeah, no.
That's correct. If you take it's like, well, you can't ask for more money until you show me what you did with the current money.
Yeah.
And if you're spending it on bullshit, then you have to change what you spend it on.
There is a lot of bullshit spending. So the state's actually upside down.
Yeah, and we weren't.
No, for the longest time we weren't. But, it's kind of gotten a little bit out of hand. Some of the spending that like, some really stupid things too, that it's just like, okay, you didn't have to actually do that. But like, I don't know, man. I can't put my finger on exactly what the issue is going to be just quite yet, but I'm starting to feel like just like through the force, there's resentment that smacks of 2016 on the fucking national level. So,
I
and
think you're
and
right.
here's what's going on with the governors. So Michael Bennett is basically going to run across the finish line because the Republicans they might put up somebody, but the way the Republican primaries in the state work, it'll be some retard. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, exactly.
What was that? What was the internal noise I made of people? The Republican Colorado Republicans have a yeah they do have a general wavelength.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like why don't you just okay? I'm polling at 39. You're polling at 38. We win this if you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He's doing this.
Well, they got the LA one coming up here. Isn't that this weekend or something? It's at.
That is correct.
Isn't it this weekend?
It's very
Or is it
close.
Tuesday?
It's either this weekend or very close.
Okay. But I get where that guy's coming from, and all it's going to take is a guy like that to flip this state
That's correct.
over. Yeah, because like I was following him a little bit the last couple of days because you were talking about him last week, and I didn't realize that like there's fucking fence zombies down there who are testing drugs out on dogs to make sure that they're okay. And as soon as I heard that, I was like, oh, he's going to win.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to win.
Yeah.
So it was
Yeah.
like raping dogs, huh? It was like, yeah, okay, so your suburban normies, there's like a few things that really get under their skin, like animal abuse.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
So
that is the if you wanted to, if you seriously, if you got into the darkest recesses of my mind and said, what would you do to stem uh, Islamic invasion into this country? You would harp on the dog issue, nothing else.
the dog. Oh yeah, they don't allow dogs. And what is it? What's really bad?
Dogs are considered
Yeah,
unclean in
they're
the
considered
Muslim world,
unclean, so you're
right?
not allowed to own a dog.
Well, you can have a dog.
Okay.
Dogs are meant for
Oh,
outside,
herding. Yeah,
right?
got
They're
it.
meant for herding, right? So the very concept of the so let me put it this way. So and this is it's like
They're eating the dogs.
well, if you're in California, okay, and
Eat the cat. Eat the cat.
if you're in California, right, and you go ahead and get on a United flight,
Uh-huh.
right, and you're a bougie ass woman who has that little dog of hers in that little travel bucket that's going to go.
You got the cat bubble. You know.
That is disgusting to,
Oh, okay.
right?
Yeah, yeah. Like there's like traditional Islam. I've been watching the British on this a little bit. They're actually like making room for it. So
Yes,
in the United States, that would never happen.
absolutely not.
Absolutely
Why?
not.
Because these guys have 10 or more
It's the
firearms.
dogs. Yeah, in particular. So yeah, well that and like organized rape gangs. So that's
That
like
is second place to
that is
dogs.
second place to dogs, but still at the same point in time. I mean that's like that's an excuse to form a good old fashioned posse. you know?
So I got to tell you, this is where again there are certain things that I tend to gauge the United States' health based off of in terms of natural reactions, right?
Mhm.
So it is pretty well documented. Even this shit going on in New Jersey right now, when people have gotten through them, they've seen the organized things. They've said like, yeah, there's clear. This is not an organic movement. There's money being pumped into
Is it
this.
cook pink again?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be. They haven't been able to break that down, but they will. But the bottom line here is what I can say is so far what we have not had is if the normies are pissed off enough, the 10 gun normies are pissed off
Oh yeah,
enough, they will show up at counter protests with weapons.
with weapons.
And I have not seen them. When they start showing up, we've got a real problem because the normies are now off the bench.
Yeah, that takes a lot.
It most certainly does. But if they get to that point, y'all are in big fucking trouble.
Yeah, it won't get to that point.
That's what
So
I'm saying.
yeah,
So when people,
they'll try it at the ballot box first. So they always do.
well, it is.
Normies don't have a problem voting. So
Well, I mean, it is part of the. It's sort of the white creed that you take. So, like
right,
unofficially,
yeah,
like when you sign the birth
unofficially, yeah,
certificate,
exactly.
when
You don't
yeah,
have to win all the elections. You just have to win a couple.
no, yeah, no, it's something that your parents, and you sort of sign, by unofficially being born with even like a partly white heritage, where it's like, um, respect the chain of command, respect that there's a system of things here. Do not jump lines. You wouldn't want somebody jumping
Do
the
not
line on
jump
you,
lines.
right?
Yes. So do not jump lines.
It's like, how
So
would you feel if somebody went over your head to get something? Pretty badly. I'd be a
pretty
bad
badly.
manager
Yeah,
that way.
exactly. Bring your
Right.
shopping carts back.
That's
Yeah.
correct. And I have manager DNA, so it just doesn't.
It's your DNA. She's part of the
There,
Betty Bourgeois DNA. So,
and there's a part of that where it's like you believe in the system, you follow the system until the system has failed, and then you believe in it for some more, right?
right.
You preach the system, you do everything within that. If something doesn't happen, then it's like, we're talking about it goes from I believe in the system to, and there's not much of a delineation, right? There's a lot of wiggle room in here, but once you get to this part, it is straight up like, oh, Tree of Liberty.
Oh, right. Yeah.
This is dry.
It's just dry. Yeah.
Yeah,
Here we go.
yeah.
So it's like, God dang. Yeah. So I saved up 20,000 rounds at 223. So,
This one because you have these people in there where it's kind of like, all right, system, Killdozer, system. And we're not there. We're not there on a mass scale.
we're a long way from Killdozer.
Yeah, If I'm lying,
You're
straighten
not.
me out. But I mean, I think that's
No, I think
where
that's
most
where
people
most
go.
normies are. But
Yeah,
like I said, I'm starting to feel it in the state a little bit. Um, because when you start seeing some of that stuff, and it's right out in the open like that, um, and I mean, there's the same thing with like, yeah, we've had problems in the past with things like gangs and stuff like that.
we
Or
have.
eventually it gets to the point in time where, okay, so we're going to elect a guy who's going to hire another, 200 cops. Got it.
Right.
Or, like certain things will come up from time to time where it's like, yeah, okay, okay, we can legalize weed and blah, 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 and stuff like that. But then after a couple of years, it comes up on the ballot. So, well, do we want to just do away with all the regulations and shit like that? People are like, no, okay, actually, this didn't work out the way that we thought it would. Okay. And so, no, you're not going to have that in our fucking city. So,
Right.
kind of thing. And everybody's like, oh my God, it's so backwards, blah, blah, blah. It's like, actually, no, man, you've got it backwards there. All right. So these are people who are patient and they wait to see how things work. And if something doesn't work, then fundamentally it does get to the point in time where people are like, yeah, actually, fuck that. We're not going to do that anymore. So,
Well, this is what it's.
and I mean, the same thing's true with like some of the stuff that's just been going on the periphery, like power plants and things like that. There's actually a serious heavy duty, like proposal out there to get a nuclear plant built here in Colorado now. So, and it's gone quiet, like you don't hear that much about it. And that's because they're actually winning the argument. Okay. So, and
Well, please tell me they want to build it south of Fountain or something.
something like that. Yeah. I
Okay.
actually think
Okay.
they want to put it on the fucking old Army chemical depot in Pueblo. So
Fine.
yeah, exactly. It's like
Sure.
fine, yeah, but I mean, it's like okay, so wait a minute, that would power the eastern half of the state,
The whole
the
thing
whole thing.
is amazing when you do. It's
Yeah.
like it takes this much material
Right.
and it generates this much power. You understand that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's just like, well, that makes perfect sense. And so naturally, I mean, you don't have an argument against it, and if you just draw attention to it, it just gathers more support. And so that's the thing. When you see certain people go silent on certain things, it's because they've realized that, well, if I draw attention to this and they say, well, actually, we should hire more cops, then a whole bunch of normies are going to come out and say, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I'll spend some money on that. So, and then it's like exactly the opposite of what you want to do.
You're talking about okay. You are talking about straight up just look left and right issues where it's just kind of
Exactly.
like, well, I'll vote this way if my friend sees me, but if I can just put my arm over it like this, I'll tell you what I really think.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think,
Yeah.
you know what? And the funny thing is, I think nuclear power for a lot of people, it's a who's watching me right now issue.
I think it is kind of coming into that. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. Because I mean, there's two components of this where I understand, and of course, Kevin O'Leary talked about this with data centers and all this. So it's like, guys, fucking get off this. This
Yeah,
is not.
yeah. I saw
Um,
that too.
it is not. It's not that I don't believe you, because I actually do believe you in terms of where the sentiment is coming from, not to build this stuff. I think some of this is organic, where a lot of people are saying we're afraid of these things um, because you don't understand them, and it's easy to blame other shit on this. It's like, okay, that's fine, I don't care. You have no idea what it's going to develop into, so if it's working, let it go.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, if it ends up being a dud, they'll shut them down. They don't run data centers in perpetuity if
Mm.
they're not doing anything,
Yeah, no.
right?
Yeah.
That will close. It will be a Sam's Club. It will be. I mean, that's the thing. Whatever. Actually, no. They'll close it, and because it's a box, they'll make it to a mega church. That's fine
Yeah,
because those
exactly.
dudes
Yeah.
move product.
They do move product. Yeah, exactly. The cars in the parking lot.
They
So,
most
yeah.
certainly do. Fucking, this is the place where it's like Sunday morning. Come get your churros. Nobody gives a shit. Go ahead. It's fine. If there's a need for it, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
If there's not, don't worry about it. But yeah, that's the to people that like the Colorado thing, like you're talking about. People say it couldn't happen. It's like, listen, y'all know who Rudy Giuliani was?
Yeah.
Do you know what he did to solve crime in the most liberal of liberal cities?
He just enforced the law.
Well, enforced it and also said, does he look suspicious? Yes.
Yeah, grab him.
Then he
Yeah,
is.
Then he is suspicious. Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, like, that's
That
the
shit
thing.
happens.
Yeah, that shit does happen. Well, I mean, that's if Spencer Pratt gets elected, that's what he says that he's been doing too. He's like, I have all the tools that I need. So,
Right.
yeah, he's like, they're already there. So it's just the people there refuse to use them. So, and, And that I mean, it's just it like I can just see that happening here soon.
Yeah.
So, because people are getting a little frustrated with certain things. Your house price isn't going up by like fucking double digits every single year anymore. Okay, shit is expensive. The state is way fucking expensive.
And the pay does not match it.
The pay does not match it.
We
All right.
don't make California money.
You don't make California money, but we're not quite paying like $7 a gallon for gas. I mean, California is
No.
kind of its own fucking thing. But still at the same
I
point in
was
time, I mean,
there.
there's a lot of folks here who are kind of like, well, wait a minute, why are we focusing on walkable cities and bike paths when there's fucking potholes everywhere? This argument comes up about every 10 years. And whenever it comes up, man, you kind of know which way it's going. It's like, wait a minute, people are going to vote for road crews.
You're not wrong. It's,
So
it's
we're
funny.
getting
I'm,
there.
I'm I'm going through the history of Colorado politics, and you're right.
Yeah. So the
Since I've
pothole,
been
the
alive.
pothole index reads a 0. Yeah.
You're not wrong, man. And that's it's. I mean, there's a couple of things here where it's a little bit of normalization from both sides, right? In terms of things that were seen as basically the things that only the far right or only the far left believed, right?
Right.
And some of those things are becoming, I don't want to say normalized, but they have to, where it's not like, it's not a far right idea to say, well, we have this many houses,
Yeah.
right? This many people want to live here, and they have this many houses. We either have one of two solutions: build more,
Yep.
right? Or kick out people who shouldn't be here,
Yeah.
right? Now, if you're on the far left, your solution to that right now should be saying,
Universal basic income.
your answer should be on a pragmatic scale, like, well, actually, I've been every initiative I have to actually increase the number of homes, ergo decreasing the overall pricing of homes is what I'm here to do.
Yeah.
Whereas the other guys are kind of like, get the bastards out,
Yeah.
right? But
Universal basic income.
I know that's your answer to again. I don't want to see another fucking Montana poster that basically says wrong people control the means of production, whatever. It's just like I don't want to see this shit.
Oh, dude, he had a great one that came out the other. You see that one that was straight out of fucking Stalinist era?
Yes, I did.
Oh my god, that was so funny. It was like, come on, dude. It's red, white, and black now. Got it. Okay.
You know me. It's like kick your ass myself. Like, so I'm just standing right here.
You rip your head off, dude.
It's like for my mom, for my family, just like hitting you over and over and over again, man. Just gonna like. Yes, there is that thing. Again, you all don't live in the city.
Yeah.
So you can vote for this shit, right? And so, yeah, I understand. It's like fucking dumbass white girls just go, oh, you're so cute. It's like fucking.
Luigi Mangioni's trial is coming up. You're going to see that happening all over the place.
Yeah, and I hope they hang him from a flagpole and the whole just.
This is all you have to do. It's scream out, and it'll all be over.
And he tries to talk, but it comes right. That's this shit disgusts me, but yeah, I guess that's kind of where I am with that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It'll be an interesting summer. So it's starting to warm up, man. So the fucking weirdos will start coming out pretty soon. We'll see what kind of protests we get this summer. I think they'll be funny.
I do have to give Pratt's answer so much credit, where it was like, well, how do you solve the homelessness problem here? And his answer was genius. He was just kind of like, well, they're going to move to Oregon and Washington because I'm going to make it so inhospitable here for them that they'll leave. And they were like, well, what happens when they get to Oregon? He's like, it's Oregon's
not
problem.
my problem. Yeah. Yeah. So you can go take notes from Martha's Vineyard.
All right. Yeah. All right.
All right. I'm Pat.
I'm Jeffrey.
Hitting the button.
Yeah.